This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Welcome back to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. And joining us in the studio today from BC Seniors Living Association, the BCSLA, we have Executive Director Marlene Williams, along with Judy Carter, who's come over from Origin at Longwood. She's the General Manager there in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And Jan Robson is with us today, Provincial Education Coordinator with the Alzheimer's Society of BC. And we've been talking about the association between BC Seniors Living and the Alzheimer's Society and what's being done to provide the best education and the best information for seniors in this province. So, Judy, because you're the general manager at Origin and you're living in this environment and you're witnessing it every day, what can you tell us about how a retirement community actually deals with dementia?
Well, this is an area of that's highly sensitive because we have, on the one hand, we have team members who have to deal with community residents, but we also have the family members who come to us because they are at their wits' end. They don't know what else to do. They've probably been trying to deal with a situation at home. They're
with
trying
a
to
parent
manage
or a family
parent
member,
or a family member, and they are burnt out.
They need your help.
They absolutely need our help. And a lot of times they come in initially without that family member because they just need to satisfy themselves that this is what they need to do. So they come in on a fishing expedition, so to speak, and they come in to get reinforced that perhaps this is the right time. So we have a resident services manager who is very highly skilled in dealing with dementia. She's actually taken quite a few courses at Royal Roads in dealing in how to present this information to the family members. And we try to encourage them and let them we give them a tour of the building. We let them know that this is not unique to them because a lot of times people feel that they are the only ones.
Yes, they feel alone, isolated
with this situation.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
And we try to let them know that no, they're not. And then, you know, we have them introduce their family members, you know, to us in their own time. We try not to force them to make those kinds of decisions. In terms of the team members, we always try to hire team members who have the passion for working with seniors and especially with that demographic, because not everyone who come into the workforce will
carry
suitable,
those qualities. That's
yes,
right.
To deal with that. So we first of all we screen very thoroughly, and then we educate, because a lot of our team members have never been exposed to people with dementia or to people with dementia, and so they don't know how to respond. So education is key. And then for people who have moved in, who
are current residents, okay,
and who have declined in that area, we also provide support for spouses where one spouse is probably living with dementia, the other is the caregiver. We provide the support to the caregiver, an encouragement to let go, because there is a lot of anxiety and a lot of guilt around caregiving for people with living with dementia. Yes.
And I'd add grief.
And grief.
Yeah, I think
yes.
grief is such
yes.
a huge thing for families
it
when
is,
they're trying
to
find a place for a family
because
member.
of the fact
Yeah.
that, you know, they've lived together for so long, and now they have to let go. You know, there's no understanding as to why this is happening.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as the general manager of that seniors community. Tell us about Origin in the sense that do you have independent living opportunities there as well as assisted living?
Yes, we do offer the 3 levels of care.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we have independent, assisted, and long-term care. And that campus of care gives us an opportunity to care for our residents at any stage of the disease.
Yes.
And so in the case of couples living with us, if one party is suffering with dementia, the other isn't, it gives them an opportunity to still stay within the community and still be a part of each other's lives without having the full responsibility of caregiving and suffering caregiver burnout.
Well, you're dealing with so many different levels. You're dealing with individuals when they're coming in sort of pre-disease, during the disease, and post-disease. So
yes.
I would expect that would require a fair amount of education. Also, you mentioned the right staff, the key staff, the empathetic staff.
Yes. We use a really great electronic platform, the My Trainer platform, which we were introduced to by BCSLA, and it gives our team members an opportunity at their own pace, to become familiar with the disease and with ways. It gives them tools to deal and to handle some of the responses that they may encounter, during their daily tasks.
Their activities.
You mentioned the personality and the passion,
Yes,
Judy,
yeah.
and there's a quote I use in my workshops that I think really fits with that. It's from Henry James, and he said 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind.
And that's so
that's
profound.
the job description.
It is.
That's their job
It
description.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do we find those right people? We find those people by putting them through the program at the Vancouver Premier College. Yes,
absolutely.
we do. Come to the workshop February 27th if you'd like a career in senior living management. So, Jan, you've mentioned, we talked a little bit about, when someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or another dementia, there are certain levels of care that are given to that individual. What does the Alzheimer's Society do to help care for the family and the support workers and the caregivers? Because Judy has mentioned that it's not just dealing with the resident of the seniors community, it's dealing with the extended family.
We have a lot of workshops, and in fact we have a resource center in Nanaimo specifically, but we have 15 resource centers around the province that have catchment areas, and so they deliver workshops in their own communities as well as elsewhere. We have our core workshop is called the Family Caregiver Workshop, and it goes through the information that I'll be going through in the workshop for the BC Seniors Living Association in terms of understanding dementia, communication, that kind of thing. We have workshops on accessing the system of care and transition to residential care, which is not just long-term care. It goes through what are the options when residential care might be the best choice for a family member. And then another one, life in residential care. So looking at how can you be a good visitor for your family members. So there's all these workshops. We have our teleworkshops that give information on a regular basis if people can't get into an in-person workshop. And then support groups. We have support groups we call them caregiver support groups. This doesn't have to be the hands-on caregiver. This can be the daughter whose mother lives in Montreal, but it gives her the opportunity to meet with people that are in a similar situation and get support, as well as information. We have a lot of information for people.
Do you ever make recommendations to the families, Judy? If the family members come to you at Origin at Longwood and say we need a little bit of help, or how do we get that help, and what do you use as resources for that?
And absolutely, we always refer back to the Alzheimer's Society. They have been a great support to our community, and they've always been very helpful.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good to hear.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hand-holding going on. Yeah. This is what I'm hearing.
Well, you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes an entire community of support groups to navigate this disease.
That path as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And you talk so much about the sense of security and
Yes.
safety that somebody can find within Origin at Longwood. So we know it exists on your property, but how does that sort of spill out into your neighboring community in Nanaimo?
Well, we have actually been very fortunate to be positioned where we are. We are close to a mall, we're close to shopping areas, we're close to other residences, and we have actually made ourselves known to the community so that when our residents find themselves in difficulty, they are always redirected. We've had a situation, for an example, we have one of our residents who actually goes to one of the shops very close by every day, and he purchases donuts. Well, some days he goes and he has no money, but because they know that he lives at Origin, they would give us a call and say, we have so and so here, and
he's
he's
daily
here.
donut run.
Yes, and they would let him have it.
Yes.
Because of course, with dementia, you don't know if you say no to a person, you don't know what the reaction would be.
Or you try to correct them.
Yes,
or,
so the easiest is to just let him have it and then give us a call. You know, some residents may walk over to the mall and then can't remember why they were there or where, how they get back. And so we have people from the mall who would bring them and say, I think this person belongs to you.
Oh, isn't that wonderful to know you have that?
Yes, we had one gentleman who went to the mall and was brought back by an off-duty RCMP officer because he fell.
And somebody noticed, and then
noticed and
a
brought
member
him
of the
back.
community
Yes.
looked
so
after him.
it's very encouraging that the community at large are beginning to come together and really protect.
I think what that does too, Judy, is it allows the person to build on their strengths and de-emphasizes their weakness.
Yes.
He can still get out there, he can still go to the store and buy
Yes.
those donuts.
Yes.
Okay, he forgets his money sometimes, but you're allowing his strengths to shine through. There's a woman by the name of Joanne Koenig-Costi. I'm big on quotes, and she's written a book called Learning to Speak Alzheimer's. And I heard her in a radio interview one time, and she said, I don't think Alzheimer's disease will ever take away someone's dignity, but we do.
Yes.
And I think those
Yes.
shopkeepers
Yes.
are allowing or supporting that man's dignity.
And that's one of the things that we really emphasize to our team members. You have to maintain their dignity, no matter what.
I think it's all part
Yes.
of us trying to create a dementia-friendly community. You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. Joining us in the studio today from the BC Seniors Living Association, we have Executive Director Marlene Williams, along with Judy Carter, General Manager from Origin at Longwood in Nanaimo, and Jan Robson is here, the Provincial Education Coordinator at Alzheimer's Society of BC. You can get more information online at www.bcsla.ca. Don't go away. This conversation continues in a moment on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.